This old guy was a widower, and he was retired from. He worked for the king, and he was like a king's guard, and he used a blowgun. That was his, and he was very accurate with it, and it was deadly. And when he retired, the king gave him a beautiful blowgun with gold ends on it and special little magical darts that he shot with it. And that was his, hung it on the wall there. And he was a widower and he had a daughter, and she was the lady of the house because she didn't have a mom, but she took care of the house all nice, and she was a weaver, wove tapestries and special hats with turquoise and feathers and big feather hats. So the king wanted a new feathered hat for a special occasion, so they asked the retired marksman to go find some feathers, and he found this hummingbird that was just so bright colors that he just shot it. But when he went to pick it up, he saw it was only a baby one, and it was very bright, but he had still some growing to do, and the feathers were going to be excellent feathers. So he takes the dart out of the little hummingbird, and he's still alive. He takes him to his daughter and asks her if she can keep him alive till his feathers grow, and she says she's going to try. So she nurses him for a couple days, and pretty soon he starts coming around. Opens his eyes. As soon as he opens his eyes, she knows he is not just a regular hummingbird.
It's not just a regular hummingbird?
Not just a regular hummingbird. He's got, she could just see in his eyes that he's like, has personality and has human qualities. So sure enough, as he starts getting better, his human qualities start showing up, and he's turning into a boy. And they're communicating, and they're laughing and having so much fun, and the dad can hear them laughing, and he's happy for the girl that she has a companion. Doesn't bother him too much because the hummingbird didn't like the dad, and every time the dad would come around, he would hide because he shot him.
He's scared.
He would kind of scour down, and the dad couldn't tell too much about him because he was hiding from him. But the little girl, since the dad would leave, he was a boy, and they were talking, and pretty soon they're running and playing. But the dad's cool with it because the girl is happy, and the boy is growing up, and he's inviting her to elope with him. He has a job to do. He is signed up to be the keeper of the sun. He's going to be turned into the sun as he grows older. And the time has come, and he's inviting her to be his moon, and they would go through the heavens for eternity. She thinks it's a good idea, so they're making their plans to elope. The dad hears something going on because hear him whispering. When he comes in the room, they shut up.
Oh.
So he goes out the back door, and he comes around, and there's yak. You can hear him talking, and he comes in the front door, and they shut up, and he goes, something's going on. So he says he's going to go take a nap. And he goes in his room, and he's only in there for 5 or 6 minutes, and he comes out, they're gone, and there's nowhere in sight. He's running around the house, and he looks up, and they're already hand in hand floating up in this heaven, and the boy is turning into the sun, and the girl is turning into the moon, and they're going. He runs in the man runs in the house, gets his blow dart, and he says, I'm gonna get that little sucker. He can't make a fool out of me. Sends a dart up there, going, and they're already way up there. You can hardly see them, and it pokes the hummingbird in the buttocks, and he lets her go. He drops her and she goes down, 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 down. Lands in the ocean and explodes into a million pieces. And just then the grunion were coming along, the Southern California grunion.
The grunions.
And they went, oh my God, look what happened to the moon. How are we gonna spawn when are we gonna know how to spawn? We gotta do something. So they all start swimming around her, and they're flipping off the scales, and they're patching her up, and putting all the pieces together and patching her up with little silvery softer scales. After they got her patched up, they all hooked together, and they start flapping, and they lift her up out of the water, and they're going back up, putting her back in the heavens so they can track her and when to spawn. So they go as high as they can. The moon's already on his way. He don't have brakes. He's on his way, and
With
he
the sun,
figured
you
he
mean?
lost her. He lost her, and he couldn't stop. So they almost get to up high, but pretty soon they're losing gaining. They're not gaining anything. So he says, we're gonna have to let you go, and they let her go, and she starts floating away. And she turns around and says, thank you, and I'll remember you from all times when to come up on the beach. Thank you. And then they were up there so high, they go, well, what are we doing up here? They says, well, maybe we'll just stay up here and turn into the Milky Way and just sparkle up here. And they're up there sparkling the Milky Way.
Oh.
The moon is still trying to catch him.
And so the moon's still trying to catch her.
Yep, they're still trying to catch. And sometimes they get to sleep together. When once a month they both set at the same time, and they get to sleep. They sleep together.
Every now and then.